From fans throwing beer cups following Chase Koepka's incredible shot, to the deafening cheers heard as Bubba Watson made an ace at the 16th hole, let's have a look at the craziest hole-in-one fan reactions. Starting off with his rowdy moment after Chase Koepka's incredible shot.
I'm not sure. I just think it's a ball striker's golf course. I really do. I think, to win a major championship, you got to be a good ball striker. You got to put the ball in play off the tee. Here, it's pretty crucial because if you're in the rough, you're going to catch some flyers, and you just got to know you got to believe yourself.
So he made an impressive ace at the LIV Golf event in April 2023. Reportedly, the ball traveled over 200 yards, landing perfectly on the green before rolling straight into the hole. Frankly speaking, it takes a combination of skill, precision, and a bit of luck to make it happen. But Chase clearly had all three on his side when he hit that incredible shot. No wonder the crowd went wild. In fact, things got a little out of hand. I'm talking about people jumping up and down and screaming at the top of their lungs. Talk about a hole-in-one party. What's more, Koepka's shot also sparked a beer-throwing madness. Well, I've got to say, I'm not surprised. I mean, who wouldn't want to celebrate a hole-in-one with a cold beer? There's one downside to it, though. The golfer said that he smelled of beer for the rest of the day. But I've got to give it to Chase. His shot was impressive enough to warrant such a reaction. Speaking of crazy fan reactions to hole-in-one shots, I can't help but forget how everyone went wild at Viktor Hovland's ace at the 2022 Arnold Palmer Invitational. Let's set the stage, shall we? So the golfer stepped up to the 7th hole at Bay Hill Club and Lodge, and with a crisp swing, he sent the ball soaring into the air. As the ball approached the green, it landed smoothly, took a couple of bounces, and then rolled straight into the cup. Now, normally a hole-in-one is an impressive feat, but what makes this one truly special is the way Hovland and his fellow golfers reacted. The golfer himself was understandably ecstatic. He leaped in the air, pumped his fist, and yelled out a few choice words, but I won't repeat them here. Let's just say they were colorful. Well, his caddy was equally excited and ran towards him with a massive grin on his face. Hold on, it wasn't just Hovland's reaction that was priceless. The other golfers on the field were stunned, to say the least. As Viktor's ball rolled into the hole, you could literally hear a collective gasp from the crowd, and then silence. Pure, stunned silence. Everyone just stood there with their mouths open as they tried to process what they just witnessed. Even the commentators couldn't believe it. One of them literally shouted, "That's what you call a quick tap-in birdie." Well, that was one incredible ace we just witnessed from Viktor Hovland, and it's safe to say that everyone was pretty pumped about it. But hold on to your hats, because I've got another hole-in-one story that's just as wild, and it involves Sung Kang at the Colonial Country Club in 2020. Now, typically when a golfer makes a hole-in-one, you'd expect the crowd to go absolutely nuts, right? Who wouldn't be excited about witnessing such an amazing shot? Well, apparently Sung Kang's hole-in-one was so bizarre that it left the crowd completely speechless. Let's talk about the shot first, shall we? The golfer stepped up to the 13th hole, and he sent the ball flying toward the green. It landed, took a couple of bounces, and disappeared into the hole. But here's where things get a little weird. As soon as the ball entered the hole, there was no reaction. Yes, you've heard that right. No cheers, no applause, no screams of excitement, just silence. Everyone just stood there in disbelief, as if they couldn't quite comprehend what had just happened. Even Sung couldn't believe the lack of reaction. He threw his hands up in the air, jumped a little, and then looked out at the crowd as if to say, "Really, guys? Nothing?" To be fair, there was a reason for the lack of reaction. Turns out the crowd actually couldn't see the ball go into the hole, thanks to a large scoreboard that was blocking the view. So while the golfer celebrated his impressive shot, the audience was left in the dark. Of course, this didn't stop Twitter from having a field day with the events. In fact, one user tweeted that if a golfer makes a hole-in-one and no one's around to hear it, does it even count? Now, this was certainly a strange hole-in-one, but you bet it's not the only wild moment in golf history. Back in 2022, Sam Ryder also had an incredible ace at the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. So he was playing the par 3 17th hole at the TPC Louisiana when he teed off with a 7-iron. The ball soared through the air and landed on the green, but what happened next was something straight out of a movie. The ball bounced once, twice, 3 times, and then out of nowhere, hopped onto the ledge of the cup and stayed there for a moment. Everyone, including Sam himself, held their breath and watched the ball teetering on the edge of the hole. Then, as if by some sort of divine intervention, it finally fell into the cup and made Ryder the proud owner of a hole-in-one. Now, I don't know about you, but this was truly impressive. It's not every day that you see a ball bounce around like a pinball machine and still manage to find its way into the cup. Of course, the spectators' reaction was even more memorable. Reportedly, some of the fans in the gallery started pushing and shoving each other just to try and get a better view of the shot. What's more, social media was also buzzing with reactions. Many users pointed out how this shot was proof that golf sometimes really is just a game of luck. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, let's shift the focus to Rickie Fowler's incredible feat. Honestly, everyone had high expectations from him him at the 2023 Phoenix Open, and this guy didn't disappoint. So he was at the long par 3 7th hole and hit the ball to perfection. Surprisingly, it went straight into the hole. Of course, he was jumping with joy, but here's the best part. The crowd went bonkers. I mean, people could be seen hugging and high-fiving each other. It's safe to say that there may have been even a few tears shed. Yes, the shot was that good. I mean, one of the spectators described the moment as magical. He said that everyone was holding their breath as the ball soared into the air and then went in. Another onlooker was so overcome with excitement that he accidentally threw his hot dog into thin air. Now, let's not forget about the other golfers on the field. After Ricky's hole-in-one, his fellow players bowed down to him and chanted his name in unison. Okay, this might not be entirely true, but you get what I'm saying. Now, hold on to your seats because I'm not done yet. So let's dive into another hole-in-one that made everyone's jaw drop to the floor. This time with Jon Rahm's unbelievable shot at the 2020 Masters. Now, this was such a shot that it had even the most seasoned golfers shaking in their seats. Trust me, it wasn't your ordinary ace. So the golfer was at the iconic 16th hole, and he hit the ball across the pond that fronted the green. Well, here's the most important part. Their ball literally jumped across the top of the water and then onto the green. Now, it was actually far from the hole, and frankly speaking, I thought that it wouldn't even make it near the cup. It turns out I was wrong. I mean, it was truly a miracle that the ball skipped 3 times. Then it made a sharp turn to the left, and guess what? It fell into the hole. Honestly, it felt like some magnet had pulled it inside the hole. Obviously, the crowd erupted in delight, and Jon's caddy almost fell to his knees. But when he gathered himself, he stood up and ran to pick up the ball in excitement. Now, it goes without saying that fans on social media had a field day dissecting the video. In fact, most of them thought that it was a supernatural shot, and one of the users went as far as saying that Jon had better chances of winning the lottery than achieving the shot in his lifetime. I mean, I couldn't agree more. This was one of the greatest shots ever in golf history. Alright, I'm shifting gears from one golfing legend to another. So, let's take a look at Bubba Watson's iconic moment at the 2012 Masters. To be honest, he had many impressive moments on the golf course throughout his career, but his incredible hole-in-one shot at the 2012 Masters remains the most iconic one. So, he was at the 16th hole of the Augusta National Golf Club during the final round. And oh boy, did he want to end the game with a bang. Let's forget that he literally sent the ball straight into the hole. Now, what made it even more special were the deafening cheers heard from the crowd. After all, the 16th hole of the Augusta National is one of the most iconic in all of golf, and it's surrounded by a large gallery of spectators. So, without a doubt, his incredible shot sent a wave of excitement among the fans. Still, the interesting part is that some people also booed at him. Apparently, they weren't fond of his arrogant persona. So, from the deafening cheers heard as Bubba Watson made his ace at the 16th hole, to the fans throwing beer cups following Chase Koepka's incredible shot, these were the craziest hole-in-one fan reactions ever.